And that's, y'all, why I was semi-late this morning, because I was like, "Flames!"
It's so awesome. I love it. Flames, fire.
Thank you, Wolfram, for being a mod. I know you might have been busy, so thank you so much for doing that. Cynthia Fire Fairy, welcome. And I was invited onto Ada K. Brown's show. She has a new channel, and she is super sweet, and this is her link. So, go over and give her a shout out, some support. We all grow, rising tides raise all ships. So she is awesome, and she also has a setup that would make me cry because it's got all the technology. Welcome, Tammy and Sarah and Jedi Jess, DK Cripple, Captain Kern. Let's see, Derek. Good afternoon. All right, guys. So, just a quick reminder that this is not an easy subject matter. So, as much as I'd love you guys to watch, as much as I'd love you guys to share this out, protect your mental health. If this is something that is going to bother you, it is going to involve the abuse of, minors from Jeffrey Epstein and then from the judicial system. So, you know, you can be an advocate without having to listen to stuff that will really, really bother you.
Yes.
And good afternoon, Debbie. So we were able to get this because the Palm Beach Post has been fighting for years to get this transcript. So I will start. This is just going to kind of explain how they got this transcript, what laws had to change to get this information. There's some handwritten notes. I will be skipping those today just because the handwriting is really hard for me to decipher. I mean, even worse than Sarah Boone.
Mm.
But California Holdings LLC, publisher of the Palm Beach Post, plaintiff versus Joseph Abruzzo as clerk and comptroller of Palm Beach County, Florida. Order granting plaintiff's motion for reconsideration of trial court's February 29th, 2024 order and canceling July 8th, 2024 hearing. Basically, no, not Gavin Newsom, for the love of all that is holy. DeSantis basically pushed a bill through the Senate, the House, in order that they're just going to release this, is kind of what they're going to go through with a procedural history uh, that, basically courts do not make law. The court had sealed this and was desperately trying to keep this information out of the hands of the public. So it just goes into the House or the vote that basically made this available to all of us. Now, here's what I want to get into because the conclusions of fact and law. Florida Statute 905.272, subsection C, now reads when a court orders the disclosure of such testimony pursuant to subject section 1 in response to the request by the media or an interested person, regardless of whether that purpose is for use in criminal or civil case, it may be disclosed so long as the subject of grand jury inquiry is deceased, the grand jury inquiry related to a criminal or SA between the subject of a grand jury investigation and a person who was a minor at the time of the alleged assaults. The testimony was previously disclosed by the court, and the state attorney is provided notice of the request. This paragraph does not limit the court's ability to limit disclosure of testimony, including but not limited to redaction. So basically, they are now allowed to give out these reports. They can no longer hide these. Yes, things will be, redacted, but that's what happens. The court finds that the request involves a matter of public interest. The criminal prosecutions of infamous uh, MAP
Yeah.
and American history began in Palm Beach County with much controversy. For almost 20 years, the story of how Epstein victimized some of Palm Beach County's most vulnerable has been the subject of much anger and has, at times, diminished the public's perception of the criminal justice system. You think? I
Wow.
don't know. Why
That's
don't you have
that's
the black book?
Well, that's calling it out really, really straightforward right there, because yes, it does give people a lot of worry whenever they see that there's not being any justice given to any of these victims, especially whenever you have an infamous person such as Epstein, that they're
Yeah.
not going to release any of this to the public to really, it does degrade people's perception of the criminal justice system.
Especially in a state like Florida that has the sunshine laws, that is, typical that we get all the crazy Florida man stories because they have such open and transparent, in theory, public discourse. The court finds that this request made by news media, specifically the Palm Beach Post. The Palm Beach Post is a daily newspaper founded in 1916 as a local publication in West Palm Beach. For decades, the Palm Beach Post was printed and published in Palm Beach County. The court finds, despite its many changes, the Palm Beach Post has a long and rich history of documenting our local community. Many residents still rely on the Palm Beach Post to obtain information on national, state, and local events. The Palm Beach Post remains a newspaper of record in our county. The court finds Epstein is also widely reported to have been deceased since August 2019.
Wow.
Are we saying that he's alive with Tupac? I mean, widely reported?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to put it nice, and that's what the person that
Yeah.
filed this is trying to do. They're trying to put it in a nice way. And it's like pointing out the fact that, yeah, this right here should have been released a long time ago.
He was reported to have been deceased since August 10th, 2019, under controversial and quote unquote newsworthy circumstances while under quote unquote supervision at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in the state of New York. This adds to the public interest. Having reviewed the testimony, the court also finds that the testimony relates to SA between Epstein and the child victims of trafficking. Again, it is widely accepted that Epstein is notorious and, serial for this kind of behavior. Testimony taken by the grand jury concerns activities ranging from grossly unacceptable to grape. All the conduct at issue is deviant, disgusting, and criminal. Details in the records will be outrageous to decent people. It is also important to note that some of the testimony in the records of the Epstein, grossness involved other people, but there is nothing in this record that is outside the knowledge of law enforcement or prosecutors. There is no new information. Tragically, the record reveals that Epstein used children to find more victims. The record also shows that some of the children knew the type of people they would be exposed to and the infamous nature of some quote unquote notable people. The court also notes the testimony was previously disclosed to enforcement agencies. Furthermore, to the state attorney was properly noticed and long ago withdrew any objections to release the records and early on even did his best to disclose information in his office's possession without delay via internet portal. As a result, he was eventually dropped as a named party in this action after much inconvenience and expense. Well, let's feel, sorry for the prosecutor. I
Yeah.
don't. So the motion is granted. It is further ordered a judge. Is it a Florida thing? Is a judge a
Must
Florida
it
thing?
must be. It must be
And they didn't even get the
everything.
G in there. Even a terrible speller, a Jude.
A Jude,
I don't think I, I
a
don't think I
jutted,
can say that
a
on
jutted. No, it's a
a
jutted
blooded.
or a juded maybe.
Oh, good lord! This intern's gonna get in real trouble for missing that one. Welcome, Dan Davis. So there are a few redactions. Obviously, these are minors. I don't want their stuff coming out. Now, these are the notes that I think might be exactly from sort of notes
Uh,
taken by the sort of recorder to tell who was where
okay, crimes
and
against
what.
investigation, and I can read most of that on
Yeah, I
record,
just don't
and it's just looks like it's going through, and I'm not seeing anything
know. It looks like it
initially run.
maybe is sort of, like a table of contents of when things happened. So we are going to skip all
Yeah.
this lovely handwriting.
Well, it does tell some of the ages of the children there, of being 15, 16,
It will
and
get into
such.
that further in the
Okay.
transcript. I think this is really the court reporter's notes, maybe,
That's
because
what it looks like. It also could be the court reporter just jotting certain things down as notes for
yeah,
themselves of where to put for the court reporting. A lot of times they'll do that. The jury entered, and then that way they can sort
that's
of keep
probably.
track of what is going on with it. What it looks like.
Yeah, so these are the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit in and for Palm Beach County, Florida, grand jury proceedings in regards to Jeffrey Epstein on behalf of the state, Barry Critcher, Esquire, may he retire in no peace, and Lana Belahovic. Look, we're just going to call her Lana,
Might be
Esquire, and
Bolvacek.
Barry
Might be Bolvacek, but I
Bolvacek.
could be wrong. We'll just say Bella. There you go.
Yeah. So you will notice that there is a distinct antagonism as they encounter these children victims, and it's quite disturbing. It'll take us a little bit to get through it. This is 176 pages long. We're not going to get through all of this today,
Not all of it
but
today, that's for sure.
yeah, you will tell that there's a couple funny things, especially in some of the research I did, that they didn't announce who they were to the grand jury, which seems to be somewhat standard operating procedure why they're here. You know, there seems that there was no introduction that was on the transcript as far as, why you're here, what you're doing. So that did seem to be a little odd from the people that had noted about it. Uh, we'll just kind of skip pages or switch pages. Be it remembered that the following proceedings were had at the Palm Beach County Courthouse located in the city of West Palm Beach, state of Florida, on Wednesday, July 19th, 2006. I needed to remember that. Beginning at 9:14 a.m. with appearances as hereinbefore noted, to wit. Thereupon, Miss Duggan, is everyone ready? Would you raise your right hand? This is Joe Riccari. Joe Riccari is the lead investigator for this crime. Again, doing some further digging, he was appalled at the way the state handled this. They did not look at his investigation. They very much skewed things. They really didn't involve him in a lot of how these things were worded. And then the witness did swear in. Miss Duggan tells him to have a seat or Dugan, and the witness says thank you. Now, Miss B, good
Yes.
morning.
Good morning.
Here, I'll do the questions since I'm Miss B today,
Yeah, you
and you
can
can
miss
be the
me.
man. You can
Yes.
pretend for a minute.
I get to pretend.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Detective Riccari, could you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Detective Joe Riccari with Palm Beach Police Department.
Okay, what is your position there?
I'm a detective in the Special Investigations Unit.
What do you investigate in the special investigations?
Long-term investigations, financial crimes, white-collar crimes, just about any kind of crimes.
Okay, ones that are going on for a long time period, uh, though usually.
Correct, long period.
Not a murder that happened last night.
Right.
Okay, did you become involved in an investigation under the case number 05000368?
That is correct.
When did you become involved in this?
In September of 2005.
Okay, was there another detective investigating this case before then?
That is correct. Her name was Michelle Pagan.
Okay, and she at some point turned it over to you?
Correct.
Have you familiarized yourself either speaking with Detective Pagan or going through her reports as to what was done when she was detective on the case?
Yes, I have.
Okay, how did this case come to the attention of Palm Beach Police Department?
On March 14th, 2005, a phone call was received from Redacted, who felt that there was some sexual activity that had occurred with the with her daughter.
Okay, and redacted name is redacted?
Correct.
Redacted. Okay, and who was her daughter?
Her daughter is redacted.
And what did blank think was going on?
What had occurred was that the mom had gotten into a fight. The daughter had gotten into a fight at her school, and subsequent after the fight, they discovered $300 in her purse. When questioning the $300, she told him that she received it from a man in Palm Beach.
Okay, did blank also overhear a conversation where they were talking about sex? And that
That
the blank might have accepted money for having time with a man?
Yes, that is correct. She had some kind of sexual activity with a man in Palm Beach.
And was it paid for?
Correct.
Okay, was Detective Pagan able to find out the circumstances about why the fight occurred?
It was rumored that she had slept with a man in Palm Beach in at her school,
She being the victim.
the victim.
Okay.
Correct.
And she heard a rumor that she was a prostitute, and that's what started the fight?
Correct.
And just for note for anyone with a functioning human frontal cortex, no minor can consent. Therefore, she cannot be a lady of the night. Absolutely just cannot with people.
Correct.
Who did she have a fight with?
A girl by the name of blank.
Okay, where the fight occurred at school?
Yes.
Who actually found the money in the victim's purse? Oh, sorry.
The freshman assistant principal.
Okay, how much was in the purse?
300.
Was Detective Pagan able to interview the victim?
Yes.
Where did that occur?
That occurred at the Palm Beach Police Department.
Okay, was the victim honest with Detective Pagan?
Well, originally she did not tell everything that occurred. It was through a subsequent interview that the further information was developed.
And what did the victim tell Detective Pagan initially?
Initially, that she had gone to the house with a girl by the name of another victim to pick up monies that were owed to her. When she, Detective Pagan, further questioned her, she explained that she was taken to the house to provide a massage to a wealthy man in Palm Beach.
Okay, she initially denied that though and said there was no act on her part between this man and herself.
Correct.
Okay, but she ultimately told them that she went there for a massage,
Correct.
to give him a massage.
Correct.
Okay, did the victim discuss with Detective Pagan that what blank had told her about going to the house? Like, did the victim know what was, or know was going to bring there to do a massage and they were going to get money?
Yes.
Did the victim say, what did the victim say, her friend explained to her?
Originally, well, let me, if you can read this, originally, the first interview was done, I'm sorry, at her school. She was going to the house to provide the massage. It was offered to her by a victim to provide the massage to this man who was later identified as Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, did the victim admit to Detective Pagan, knowing that, this other victim worked for this man in exchange for doing sexual favors?
Yes,
Did she say she was offered the opportunity to do those and that's why she went there?
yes,
What in the actual F is this line of questions?
it is
She
so
was
forward.
lied to. She was
Yes,
lied to, and you have a victim reaching out to another victim, and if you're a daggone, middle schooler and someone offers you 300 bucks, yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to touch a gross guy, but they said a massage. They said it was just like a massage. I can do a back rub and get $300. This is so gross. This is so gross. You can tell that this woman has a criminal that she would like to try other than Epstein.
yes.
Okay, did Detective Pagan ask the victim if she ever discussed with the other victim about letting this man know her age?
It was discussed in the ride over that if she would if her age was asked to say that she was 18.
Okay, and victim 1 and victim 2 agreed that she was going to do that if asked.
Yes.
Okay. Now, at this point, we are going to ask the victim to testify, okay?
Okay.
Uh, well, I guess, yeah, you just go ahead and be the victim just
I'll be the
because it
victim.
works.
I'll be the
Please,
victim. Yes.
oh, that didn't come out right. Oh my God. And for today, Shizzy is our victim. Okay, the witness says, okay, please hang around. You're going to testify again in a bit.
Okay.
All right. Uh, then the witness gets
Witness
sworn in.
Shizzy. We can just call it Witness Shizzy.
Witness Shizzy.
Yes.
Okay,
I
so they're
swear it
sworn
in.
in. Yep. Okay, now here's what starts out. This is the court reporter. When you're here testifying, everything's recorded with a microphone system. So you can put your hand down. You do have to answer as you did verbally, or you can't shake your head because that won't be recorded in the system that's going on. So you have to say yes or no. You can't shake your head. And one important thing is you're here today before a grand jury, and it's a crime to lie to the grand jury. And in our terms, we call it perjury. But in regular people's terms, it's called lying to the grand jury. Uh, I do believe that this is the first victim, and the state does an incredibly cruel job of making it the victim's fault.
Yes.
Uh, and it's going to get absolutely horrific here. So there's one important rule here today. You must tell the truth, 100% the truth. Because you cannot, there's no penalty for telling the truth. It's the opposite. If it can be proven that you lied to the grand jury, there is a crime of perjury. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, so move up to the microphone a little bit and be sure that you speak yes or no, and so that even the folks in the top of this room can hear your answers, okay?
Okay.
All right, can you tell me who you are?
I'm Shizzy.
How old are you?
I don't want to tell. 16.
Okay. What is your birthday?
1990.
Okay. How old were you in February of 2005?
I was 14 still.
14 or 15?
I was 14 still. Well, this happened when I was 14, so
You turned
15 in June of that year.
And you just turned 16?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were just short of 15.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where do you live?
I live in my house.
Where do you go to school?
Well, I'll be starting school at the other school.
And that's the other school?
Mm-hmm.
Out in?
And
Go ahead.
where I'm living.
Okay. Okay, where did you go to high school in 2005?
This other school,
Where is that?
this other place I lived.
On what road?
I Yeah, probably.
Some ridiculous BS question.
Yeah, probably.
What grade were you in 2005 when you were at the other school?
I was in the ninth grade.
Did you know someone identified as the second victim?
Yes.
How did you know them?
I used to date her cousin.
All right, how old's the cousin? Or
At
how
the
old is
time,
the other victim?
I think at the time I think she was 18 or 19, I think.
Who was her cousin that you dated?
Her cousin.
Okay. Was blank all going to the school at that other school, or did you know her from outside of school?
I knew her from outside the school.
How much contact did you have with her?
I I met about I met her the night before I went to Jeffrey's house.
Okay, tell us about the night when you met the other victim.
Um I was with my boyfriend uh at my house, and her or his aunt lives like 4 streets down from mine, so we went to say hi to his aunt and stuff, and the other victim was there, and I was introduced.
Had you met her before that night?
Like a family football thing. Like they had a family get together for a football game, and she was there.
Okay,
But I just said hi to her.
all right.
Like I never knew like who she was.
Not a lot of conversations,
Yeah.
or
It was just kind of like, hi, nice to meet you.
okay, that night you go down there and you meet her. What happens?
Yeah. And then it was kind of like a regular night. We were hanging out watching TV. Then like it was like 11:30ish or 10, something like that. And she's like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, nothing. And she was like, "Oh well, do you want to make like $200?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then like she was like, "Well, you're like gonna have to like meet my friend Jeffrey, and he lives in a big, humongous mansion, and like he lives on like the water and all this stuff." And when then I was like, well, that's really cool. And then she's like, "But you have to give him a massage for like 40 minutes, and that's all you have to do." And get like $200 for it, and it's really easy. And like I was like, okay, like whatever, it's just a massage. And then the other victim was like, he was wondering what happened, and we were just, I told him he was like arguing with the other victim, and then him and the other victim went into the bathroom for like a couple of minutes to argue, and the other victim had like her boyfriend there, and so me and him were stuck in like the living room watching TV, listening to them argue for a couple minutes, and then they came back out, and we went outside and had called Jeffrey on the phone. And Jeffrey's assistant lady, I don't remember her name, she answered the phone, and she said that she had somebody that could give Jeffrey a massage tomorrow. And the lady asked like how old I was and who I was, like what was my name was. But the other victim said that like I had to be 18, so I told the lady I was 18, and then I went to school, and I was a senior and everything. And so like the little assistant lady said like, okay, that's fine, come on tomorrow. And then I went home, and
Okay, let me stop you there. A couple of things.
Okay.
Did you know if the victim and this other person were, what were they fighting about?
Yeah, because the other victim didn't want me to go because I guess he knew about like my his cousin of did that already. And
Did that concern you that, this other person didn't want you to go and you were agreeing to go anyway?
well, yeah, cuz well he was I was like I guess I was 14, he was like 16 and stuff, and he was just like, "Don't go. Don't go." And I was like, "Well, it's $200." And I was 14 and I was like 200. And so I didn't really care what he said.
I mean, absolutely. What 14-year-old is going to think no, self-respecting man is going to hire rando middle schoolers? No, she's going to hear 200 bucks and start she is already spending that money at Claire's in her head. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes,
okay, from
she's and this is why these predators are so dangerous, because it can be, you know, the like Ghostry says, these teens sound like they don't have a father at home who would have been teaching them cautious boundaries. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. You could still have a father that's teaching them those cautious boundaries, and they would still do something silly like this because they think that they're at this age, you think that you're invincible, that nothing can harm
yeah.
you.
And I mean, you are shielded if you have, a single mom, a single dad, a grandma who loves you. They try to shield you from these predators in the world. They give you that kind of, hey, don't talk to strangers and things like that. But who would only in their deepest nightmares think that there is a man recruiting preteens to go recruit other preteens to give him weirdo massages? I
Yes,
mean,
you're talking with one of your best friends. I mean, it would at this age, this best friend is probably the closest she has to a sibling, and her sibling says, "No, it's fine. We'll make a couple $100. All you gotta do is give them a massage," and they're basically vouching. I mean, how many times have we
yeah,
seen, people vouch for other people and get them into trouble? Say, "Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
fine. It's fine. You'll be safe."
Yeah. Yeah, and if your friend just says it's a massage, I mean, if this girl was markedly older than this other girl, she probably started out young like this and didn't realize that no, it's not appropriate for a 14-year-old child to give someone a massage. And when a guy maybe says a massage, he at that age with someone this young that he has already paid, he's going to expect more. That just doesn't even factor into your head at that age. I would have
No,
been like, really? So all I have to do is this? And I mean, like I said, 12-year-old me, 14-year-old me would have already been spending all of this money at Claire's. I'm going to go buy like a new trapper keeper. I mean, the consequences would have never factored into me.
no, not at
Okay,
this
let's see
age.
here.
You were
Okay,
okay.
and from listening to Blank's end of the phone conversation, the person at Jeffrey's house was trying to verify that you are at least 18.
Mhm.
Okay, is that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
And but, like, after she hung up the phone with the lady, she explained to me that what we went back inside the house, and she explained to me that I was going to have to, like, tell the lady, like, make up a lie about my whole life, like, that I'm graduating from school already, and that I'm 18 and all this stuff, and that I've known, this victim for a long time, like, just to make it look like I was older. And so I agreed to do all that stuff, and then I went home for the night. And then the next morning, the victim and another lady, like, another teenage girl, I don't remember her name, she was in the truck with her, and, like, we were leaving my house, and but my dad saw, and I told him we were going to the mall in Palm Beach, and my dad's like, "Okay." He didn't have a problem, and since it was, this friend or my friend's cousin, he didn't care that I was going with them, but he met like we were leaving and my dad was coming in the office and they were like pulling into my driveway and he saw the victim and this other person asked my dad for $5 for gas. So my dad said like, yeah, sure, $5, whatever. And then we left. And then we got to Jeffrey's house.
Do you know Jeffrey's full name?
Jeffrey Epstein or Epstein or whatever.
Where was the house?
Um I like it's in Palm Beach. Whatever. But then we pulled up in the driveway, nobody was there. Like my friend, like she's says he's not like home. So we walk up anyways, and we all got out of the car, and there was like a gate that you have to walk in to go to the back door, and there was like a security guard or whatever, and he was like a little officer in the back, and he saw us, so he came up to the gate and he asked us what we were there for, and my victim friend said Jeffrey, and so the guy was like, okay, and he opened the gate and all three of us went in like to the back door towards the kitchen because I guess the kitchen's right there when you open the door. So we were sitting like in a bar like this, and we were waiting for about 15 minutes, and then Jeffrey and the assistant walked in through the back door also, and that's when I first met Jeffrey, and we shook hands, and then the lady also introduced herself too, and then the lady was talking to the victim, my victim friend and the other girl for a couple of seconds, and then Jeffrey said, who's going to do first or go first or whatever, and the victim friend and the other girl's like, I don't care, and then Jeffrey's like, how about you, pointing at me, and I was like, oh, okay, and then I was like looking back at my friend and laughing, and she was she was just like scooted her hand to go, and she was laughing too, and I was like, okay. And then we in the kitchen, it was like a little hall, well, not really, but like a stairways to go upstairs, and we were walking up there, and the assistant lady walked me up there, and Jeffrey was talking to them after, and then she was pointing out like all the pictures and all this stuff and leading me up to like a bathroom. It was like really big though, and like there were two closets, and she went into one closet and pulled out the massage table and set it out in front of like this couch, and then she put like a little blanket or whatever over the massage table, and then she opened up a drawer and there was like a whole bunch of different like lotions for getting massages, and she just picked like a couple of them out and set them on the vanity table, and there's a big mirror on the other wall opposite the massage table, and then she told me to get well, not undressed, but like keep your bra on and your panties on, and I was like, okay. And then she said
Had your other friend told you about that before?
no. I thought like it was going to be a massage, like you're keeping your clothes on, and that when I got in the room, that's when the lady like explained that I would have to do just to get undressed and keep my bra and panties on, and then
And did you do that?
mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, and they then to stay in the room for a couple of seconds, and then Jeffrey would be coming in the room any minute, and then Jeffrey did come in the room, and he said hi, and he shook my hand again, but then he went out of the room. He got undressed, but he had a towel on, and then he came into the room again and laid belly down on the massage table.
Okay, stop a minute. What did this man look like, this Jeffrey Epstein?
Old,
How old?
like really old. He looked like 50ish, maybe
So ancient. Okay,
40.
how was he dressed when you initially met him?
Like he was going golfing. He just had like a polo t-shirt on and khaki pants.
Okay, and how were you met when you were first went to his dressed when you were first to his house?
I was wearing a regular t-shirt, my Hollister shirt, and just some jeans.
Okay, what kind of underwear did you have on?
A thong?
There are This
That
thunder
age?
cunt, this 14-year-olds probably yes, because they all want to go to Pink and buy underpants that scare their parents. But why is she asking this victim? Like she's asking for it. She put on thong undies that morning because she was gonna tempt her some man. Just ugh.
Yeah, that's so disgusting.
And the
Because
bra,
that's
what
the
kind of
well,
bra?
and somebody asked him, so how old was her dad? I would assume at this girl's age, he's probably in his 30s.
Yeah. And again, she has no frame of reference. She's not going to put on special underpants because she's thinking massage, like I'm going to get some oil. He's going to be wrapped in a towel. I
Yeah.
stay clothed. He stays on the couch.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like he might be having a shirt off, or maybe he's even in a shirt. They don't know. I mean,
No,
we're not thinking Chinese massage parlor. We're thinking just, this guy wants somebody to give him a massage. This is
no.
oh,
It
it's
gets
this is
it.
just horrible. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
because these kids don't know. They're thinking,
no.
okay, a massage, $200 for a massage. I mean, I could
Yeah,
make a living off of that. How many massages
well,
can you do a day or an hour?
yeah, and for this prosecutor, this person that's supposed to be fighting for justice for this particular victim, I mean, I have never seen anything as close to "Were you wearing a short skirt?" than what I just read,
Yeah. Well,
and it
and
gets
maybe they're
worse,
just
you
trying to
guys.
get, well, no, because they're not having to worry about this uh inside of the courtroom, because there's no prosecutor, there's no defense there. It's just a prosecutor bringing this up in front of a grand jury. So there'd be no reason for them to get this specific on it. A
Oh,
thong is what I
mhm,
was wearing.
uh, and the bra, what kind of bra was it?
It was a bra.
Okay, no special,
Uh-uh.
certain type, but thong underwear? Were you comfortable getting down to your bra in underwear?
Uh-huh. Like, I was kind of hesitant. I was like sitting in the room for, like, until Jeffrey came in, like thinking like to myself, well, like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. I was kind of hesitant, but then I just didn't care because I wanted $200 because I wanted to spend it. So I just didn't care. I just
Okay, all right. So he comes out and he's in a towel. Start from there.
and he like laid on the massage table, got on his stomach, and then he told me like to grab any of the three lotions that she had put on the table. And so I just grabbed one of them, and then I just gave, like, I sat first. I wasn't sitting on the table because he was sitting on the table, and it's kind of like I just stood up, and then I started to give him a massage. And then he's making conversation, asked me exactly what my friend was going to tell me to do, like, if what high school do you go to, and all that stuff. So,
Did he ask you how old you were?
uh-huh. And
And what did you tell him?
I told him I was 18. And he asked like he asked me like what do I like to do for my spare time? And I said I dance and all this stuff, and just asking, just small talk. And then he's like, "Oh, well, you don't have to stand up. You can sit on the table." And so I sat on the table and I was giving him a massage, and I think the massage, it was a couple of minutes, like 15 or 20 minutes, and this whole time we were just conversating about anything. And he was telling me how he had another house in New York and just a whole bunch of stuff that I was like amused by. And then like after like 20 minutes of giving him a massage, or 30 minutes or something, it was around that time he asked me if I wanted to make an extra $100 and all, and that he'd have to use.
Before we get there, let me just ask you a couple things. You said the assistant had you undress.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Do you remember telling Detective Pagan that it was Jeffrey Epstein that asked you to undress?
No, I'm not positive it was Jeffrey, because he didn't come in the room till after I was already in my underwear and bra.
Okay, so that's if that's in her report, it's incorrect.
Yes.
All right, when you talk about getting on the table, do you recall telling Detective Pagan that you were actually straddling him and your
Oh, that's yeah, that's when I got on the table, like after a couple of minutes.
this is a question that is killing me. Okay, and you were straddling him with your bare buttocks to his bare buttocks?
Yeah, well, kind of. There was a towel that like it was kind of covering his butt, but not really covering his butt. It was like not really covering his butt, but I was laying like on his lower back near his butt, but like it wasn't on his butt.
So if she wrote that you exposed your bare buttocks and were touching his bare buttocks,
That'd be kind of correct.
okay,
Then yeah, I guess
all right.
you could say that.
So how long did that go on when you were just sitting on top of him?
The until like the massage part was over, and then he like asked, well, would you like to make an extra $100? And then I said sure. And then he's like, but I have to like you're not going to be giving the massage anymore, it's going to be something different. And I was like, well, what is it? And then he's like, can I use a vibrator on you? And I said, okay. And then so he got up and went into his like other room for a couple of seconds, like literally a couple of seconds, and then came back in the room. And next to the little vanity, big mirror, and all this table, there was like on the floor, and there was just like the vibrator, or what it looked like a vibrator to me.
What did it look like?
It was like purple, and it was like it was kind of like a massager, but not really. Like it looked like a massager, but it wasn't really a massager. And this is freaking pissing me off right now.
Now you see why I stayed up half the night and I had to put it out because I hate reading this stuff. I hate seeing this stuff, but the system of justice that she went to for help is basically treating her like she is Jezebel, tempting this fine, upstanding individual, and she wore a thong, therefore guilty. I mean, how can you be a prosecutor and do this? What was it shaped like?
It was like circular on the top, then it was like a handle on the bottom.
Absolutely no squid pro quo, and thanks for listening while you could, and I totally understand. Sarah Adams, absolutely not. They never did. They wanted to make these victims the, ill mannered, ill begotten, soiled doves that tempted this man.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then after he grabbed that, he laid back on the table, and except this time he was on his back and I was partially on the table, like half on my butt cheek, and my leg was on the table, and one leg was on the floor. And like sometimes I'd put it on the couch, like because the couch was right there and the table was right there, so it was kind of close. And I he told me to keep giving him a massage, but to give him a massage on his chest.
So you're sitting on the table now and he's standing up?
No, no, no. He was laying back on the table, but like I was kind of on the table, like half my butt and my leg was on the table, and the other half was like or like on the couch, like I was holding.
Okay, but he's laying down?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then I was giving him a massage on his chest, and he was still talking for a couple of minutes, and then he used the vibrator, and like that was like 10 minutes maybe or so, and I think,
Now
and
he, and I have to be detailed here, but where was he using this?
can I say along my vajayjay?
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, then and then after for a couple of minutes, that's what he was doing, and then he you know, satisfied himself for like a couple of minutes. Like I was still on the table, and my friend told me that if you like, if he does that, then you have to get more money, because that's like he gives you extra money if he pleasures himself, because I guess it's some like his or whatever is his kink or whatever, and
And that she told you that before?
she told me that like that the night that like I this whole conversation with her, and she told me about it.
Okay, so she didn't just tell you that you were going for a massage. She told you that you might have to take your clothes off.
No, she didn't tell me that I would have to take my clothes off, but he said that if you know, he pleasures himself in front of you, then you can get more money.
Sorry, let me.
Mhm. Yeah, I
I mean, this is all the trigger warning I'm going to do. Daggone it. I need to edit it so it will just go around the bottom, but it's Epstein. I did kind of give you guys a warning. This is gross. It's going to get worse. The jury is going to question this girl like she's a daggone harlot. But this needs to get out there. The way they treated these victims, in order to give this man a sweetheart deal where, you know, these victims entrapped him or something.
and you
Uh,
realize that this is a 16-year-old girl at this time. This
yes.
is 2 years separated from this incident. She was just barely, if even at all, hitting puberty.
No. And 14, what is she going to say if she's not comfortable with this? The power dynamic is something that all women should be keenly aware of here. This woman that's questioning her, this is a probably, you know, very attractive but very petite young girl. What's she going to say? She's in a room with a man who's clearly well to do, clearly has done this before and gotten into no trouble. So, what is she going to say? Who's going to listen to her? Who's going to believe her? And if she says no, what else is going to happen? This is the way the state and the fact that these two lawyers, Lana and Dingus, whatever his name is, got to retire in good standing is a miscarriage of justice.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you say tubend, what do you mean?
I mean, he put his hand on his wing and he started going up and down kind of fast.
Okay, so you could see his dong at one point.
Uh huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Jesus.
That went on for how long?
Well, like a couple of seconds, maybe like, yeah, like 40 seconds. And then after that, like the massage was over and he went into out the door back to wherever he goes. I couldn't see where he was going because the door was this way and he walked out. And I guess he had like his money behind the door because it only took a couple of seconds for him to come back in the room. And then he opened his money, like his wad, and gave me like $300 bills and three $100 bills, and told me thank you. And then he was like, there's a notepad there next to the couch. And he told me to write my name and number because I had a cell phone at the time, and he told me to write my cell phone number down and how he could get a hold of me and all this stuff. And so I wrote my number down and wrote my name. And then after that, he just left the room and told me I could get dressed again and that it was done. I was over.
Did you actually see him finish?
No.
Okay, did he not finish or you didn't see it?
If he did, I didn't see it.
Okay, do you recall telling Detective Pagan that it happened in a different sequence?
No.
That he helped himself before he helped you grossly.
Maybe this was like 2.5 years ago. So
Okay.
That could have happened.
Do you recall not telling her anything about a vibrator at all
Yeah.
the first time you talked to her?
Yeah, I remember that because I was scared.
Okay, why were you scared about that and not scared about telling her that he had just finished in front of you or, loved himself in front of you?
Well, because that's his body and the toy is on my body.
So you didn't want to admit that you allowed him to touch you.
Yes.
Okay, and he gave you $300
Uh-huh.
and you left your number so he could contact you again.
Yes.
Okay, when he left the room, what happened? You got dressed. Did he take you downstairs or did you go downstairs by yourself?
Um, I went downstairs by myself.
Who was down there? Was your friend still down there?
Uh-huh. Um, my friend was there, and this other girl was there, and the assistant lady, and she might have been there. I don't know. I can't remember. But then after that we left. Like they didn't do anything. They didn't. She got money, but she didn't do anything.
Uh, she who? Who is she?
My friend did.
Okay, do you know how much money she got?
I think it was 300 too,
Okay.
or maybe 200. 300.
Do you know what that was for?
No, at the time I thought maybe she did something with somebody else in the house. But then I was like thinking there was only Jeffrey and the lady there. Like I didn't like think of it. And I
But did you learn that she got money for bringing you there?
yeah, I kind of figured that out when I got back home. Like I was thinking about it for a while. And I realized, well, it's probably because she brought me.
Okay, did you discuss with her what happened in the room?
Yes, that then we got in the back in the truck. At first we all like let's go spend our money. And she was like, oh, what happened? What did you do? How much money did you get? And I was like, I got 300. And I was like, I was excited. 300. And then she was like, you got 300. What did you have to do with him? And then she told her I told him or her what I did. And she's like, oh yeah, I've done that too, blah blah blah. And like you could she was then she just told me like what like if you do get this, it's you get that if you do this and then get that. And she was telling me like all this stuff. And then I was like laughing about it because I was like, yeah, thanks, for telling me that I'd have to get in my bra. And she's like, oh, sorry. And she's laughing. And then the other girl starts laughing too. And then we all laughed together. And then we went to TJ Maxx and got a purse. Jesus. And I didn't spend any of my money. I just kept it in I wanted to spend it, but I didn't want to spend it at TJ Maxx. I wanted to go to the mall or something. And then I kept it in my house, like my purse and stuff. And
Let me stop you there. When you're in the car back with, your friend going back, did you and your friend discuss doing this again so you could earn more money?
yeah,
Okay.
I think
Um,
we had she didn't plan like it wasn't like a certain date. She was just like we didn't like plan this or like again we just didn't plan. We don't plan anything. I was like she was like, "Oh, well, if you ever need money again, you can always like call me and you can come with me." And I said, "Okay."
you don't recall telling Detective Pagan that you made plans to do this every Saturday so you could get rich?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Well, it wasn't like a plan. It was kind of like an imaginary kind of every Saturday, like,
Okay.
and it wasn't for sure.
Did you go back to Jeffrey Epstein's house to give him other massages?
I did not.
Okay.
When I was on the phone with a detective, we pretended for my friend because she was on the other line. We pretended that I was going to go back, but just so she could say something, but I never did. Oh, basically they were trying
Okay.
to entrap her. That makes sense. They were trying to entrap her friend.
Okay. Did you, so you did a controlled phone call with blank,
Uh-huh.
trying to get her to make admissions?
Yes.
Is that a yes? She said
Yeah.
yes, bitch. Uh, okay. All right. There was another reason, you sort of didn't go back, that some people might have found out about it or were talking about you.
Um, yeah, that's what I was gonna get to at school. I like had my like best friend, and I told her in dance class because that's my first period, and that was my first period class, and like right when I got back to school, I had the 300 on in my purse with me, and I told her like if you ever want to make 300, you can come with me and my friend, and we'll take you. And I didn't say her name. I said like my friend will take you, and all you have to do is give him a massage and stuff. And I told her what I did. I didn't tell her everything. I didn't tell her the vibrator part. I just left that out, but I told her everything else. And she kind of laughed and giggled, and she's like, "Okay, I'll keep that in mind." And then
Who was this person you told?
the other person, well, she was in the conversation, but she's like didn't say anything to anybody.
Blank.
Yeah, the other person, she didn't think, she didn't say anything at first until everybody else found out. And then, well, after I told somebody else, the rest of the day goes by, and she was telling people and like telling everybody in school. And then I was like, I saw her in gym class the same day, and I just confronted her. I was like, well, why are you telling people? And that's kind of my business. And I kind of told you to be nice and not to like go around telling people. It's supposed to be like my best friend. And then she just laughed about it. And then we got in an altercation in the gym room.
Was that a fight?
Yes.
You had a fight.
We got into a fight, and that's when I had to go to the principal's office. And my other friend told why she got in the fight with me, and I told her why we got in a fight. And I kind of, well, we at first we both kind of lied about why, because, well, or just did. And then I was like, I just told the principal. She was like spreading rumors about me. And then my friend, like, I guess she told the principal why, like, for real. And so the principal, when I had to go in the room, she was like, let me see in your purse. And I said, why? And she's like, asked me if I had any money. And I said, no, I don't have any money on me. And then she said, like, you don't have to lie. You're going to be in trouble. Just give me your purse. And then like I gave her my purse, and she found the 300, and she asked me how I got it. And I say, I work at this place, because at the time I really did work at this place. And
Why did you lie to the assistant principal?
because I didn't think it was like any of her freaking business. Like, why were we arguing or anything? And I thought, why would I tell on myself if she doesn't really know anything yet? But then she really did know, because this girl told her. And then after she showed, like, after she took my purse and she looked at the 300, and she didn't believe what I said, like at all. And I just kept lying and like saying, no, I got it from, work, and my work. And then she said, you don't have to lie. And no, I know what happened. And she called my stepmom. My stepmom came to the school, and my stepmom said, like, you didn't get $300 in your paycheck. You're lying. And that's when I was like, I don't know everything. It kind of came out. And then well,
You didn't tell your parents at first. So did you lie to them too?
I said I was like doing drugs, and I was dealing them. Like, I made up any kind of lie. I didn't want to tell them what happened.
Did there come a time when Detective Pagan got some messages on your phone?
From
Yes, from
from yeah, well, well, after that whole thing, my cell phone was taken away. So yeah, she had my cell phone from that day until she, well, until I moved to another place. And she, like my mom, I think she still has it, or the court or whatever has my cell phone. Can I get that back?
You talked about telling your mom you were doing drugs or selling drugs?
Yeah, I just
Which one?
my just both. I just kind of, my dad's arguing with me. I just kind of told him, well, I'm a drug dealer.
Okay, so you've had problems with drugs though, haven't you?
I did not a problem. I experimented. It's a problem.
Didn't your parents actually send you away to a rehabilitation center because of it?
To a family help center,
Okay.
to be specific, or whatever. It was because of that, but it was also because I had a lot of family, like, getting along problems. Like, I argued with my parents a lot.
Were you doing drugs at the time you went to Jeffrey Epstein's house?
No, well, the only drug that I did at the time was pot. Like, I smoked it sometimes. I didn't do like drugs, like bad kind of drugs.
Do you still do pot?
No.
Do you have a myspace.com account?
Yes, I have a MySpace. My God.
On there, you talk about doing drugs.
No, I don't talk about it. There's like a little thing where it says create like your own thing, and it asks questions like a survey, and that's the word I'm looking for. A survey about, like, they just ask questions. It says, have you ever done drugs? And I said, yeah. Have you, it says, and you ever done drugs? She still sounds like a child. Just what she's saying.
She
Just
doesn't, she lied about being freaking, Al Capone instead of admitting because she was probably ashamed. And these people now, made every one of her fears come true. She wasn't going to be believed. She was going to be shamed. Everything that she had done in her short 14-year-old life that maybe had been a little bit of a screw up was going to be used against her.
yes.
And shame, just very fucking dare shame on you, you state prosecutors. There is
Yes.
a way to get this information out there. Many people can say, okay, um, we're going to have to get through this. We're going to have to ask you some tough questions. This is not a judgment call, but these are things that you are going to be asked. Did you do drugs? Okay, yes. All right. Did you, take care of that? Did you go to rehab? Did you get help? I mean, they are over here assassinating a 14-year-old girl that was made to undress and touch a man where she had no power. And that's the thing. This is a soft power. This is, you are smaller. You have no power. You are a 14-year-old girl. You know, if you say no, if you try to speak out, no one's going to believe you. And the fact that the state's doing this in order to not have to deal with this absolute pond scum is infuriating.
Mm.
It asks a lot of questions about you, right?
Yes, but I also did delete that MySpace, and I did a good one.
Okay,
I delete because my parents found out.
so you had one that wasn't real good,
Yes.
that you lied about your age on and said you were 18.
No, I didn't say I was 18.
This your account
No.
here with your friend, female, 18 years old, lives here.
Yes, but I didn't do this one. All mines have like cool things on the back. Like mine, I would never make an ugly one.
Oh my god, they tried to proctor her MySpace, and she's like, "No, I would never do something so fugly."
Yes. Just like-
She's like, "You're lame. I have
oh
I have dancing, Teletubbies in my background, ass."
God.
Let's see here. Uh, does so and so do have more fun?
Yeah.
And you're a blank?
Yeah, but I have like that X, like those exact same things on my old one. It had like not in what it says about me in that little sentence.
Okay.
That's not. No, I didn't make that.
So when you're talking about that survey you answered, it says your choice of alcohol and you put beer.
Yeah,
Do you drink beer?
at parties.
Okay, it says you have four piercings.
Not anymore. Now I only, well, I used to have my belly button pierced.
It takes, you have to be 18 in the state of Florida to do body piercings other than your ears. How?
My dad,
How did you get those?
my dad took me to get my belly button pierced for my 14th birthday because like everybody was getting one, and so I begged for it. And then I just got my nose pierced. So
Did you have to provide identification for your nose? Just prove you were 18?
no, my dad just let me.
I mean, and I know this as a mother of a 16-year-old who really wants to get her belly button pierced. I have to be there. I mean, if she's underage. This is kind of a thing that happens. I am Sarah, don't worry. I am big mad too. And so your dad, okay. So you didn't have false identification at that time?
No.
Okay, so you said yes to drinking and smoking pot?
Yeah,
There's a question. Do you shoplift? Do you recall what you put for that?
I did.
What did you shoplift?
Yeah, like a couple of times.
Do you recall putting lots of times on your site?
Maybe. This was long ago, so
Okay, so you reported your income of 2000 or $250,000 a year?
as a joke.
This bitch on that site?
Yeah, it's a joke. Like all my friends do that because it's kind of funny and random and stupid. We're 14. What did you expect?
This girl is not on trial. This girl is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
This prosecutor is doing everything in her right to make her to be a pot smoking, lying, thieving, minor lady of the night who entrapped this man. She
Yeah.
lied about her age. Therefore, it's her fault. Not
Just
a grown ass man who can figure out an 18-year-old versus a 14-year-old.
uh, even so, she's 16 at the time they're asking these questions. She's still just a child. She's not even equipped to
Yeah.
answer these questions without throwing herself under the bus.
No, and God, I hope that this child and all the children got some help because I can imagine going through what she went through, which was one of the more mild things that we know about Mr. Epstein, but it was still gross and wrong. But then for the people that are supposed to protect her, the people that swear, we stand for justice, are over here making her out like it is the 1950s. It is the 1950s. She wore a short skirt and she had it coming. I,
Yeah.
I this is why I'm putting this out there because this is what the state of Florida inflicted on this girl. She's not only a victim of Epstein, she's a victim of the state. And this needs to get out there. We've had a hell of a news week already, but this cannot go,
No, it can't.
unseen. The Palm Beach Post fought for 20 damn years for this to get out.
20. Not
20.
just a few years, 20 years. It wasn't like this happened yesterday or right before Epstein self deleted. That's not when this happened. This happened the first time that he was prosecuted or they brought charges against him in the state of Florida. And then
And
they dropped
because
those
they painted
charges.
these two as, or these victims as, child prostitutes, and this man was able to get out with a sweetheart deal where he basically got out of jail on the weekend. He could go back to his mansion, do his office work. I don't think there was a victim's advocate from what From the more research that I'm doing, the lead investigator, the gentleman that was questioned at the beginning, he is furious about how this
Yes.
was taken care of. He did hard work. I mean, he did, the old gumshoe detective stuff that you have to do. He basically gave them Epstein on a silver platter, and they made it like he was part of a, well, I don't know. It
Conspiracy.
was just gross.
They made it look like he was part of a
Yeah.
conspiracy of the state coming after him, after this wealthy man. And with him being arrested, that means, all that money that he was bringing into the state, well, that's going to go away. Your paychecks, they're going to suffer because, I know lots of powerful people. I hang out with Prince Harry. Hell, I even hang out with the Clintons. I've been
Yeah.
seen over there hanging out with Trump, although Trump threw him out of his place because he thought he was skeezy and creepy.
Yeah. And if you're able to make these girls look like the ones that lied to him about his age, that he would have no idea that these were young children,
I mean, she
then
looked
he
like
has
she was
possible.
18. Here's the excuse he's using. Well, she looked like she was 18.
Yeah, and my assistant checked it out. I mean, she was supposed to vet them. How was I to know? I mean, this gives him plausible deniability while assassinating the character, spirit, and soul of a young child to do it.
Yeah.
Shame on you, you prosecutors. I hope you don't get a good night of sleep in your life. Okay, did you ever make arrangements with, your friend to go back to Jeffrey Epstein's house in April of 2005?
Not when I was with her. Maybe on a phone conversation like with that detective, but not ever when I was with her.
Did you ever talk to, your friend about going back in April of 2005?
I really don't think so.
Okay, all right. At this point, I'm going to ask the grand jurors if they have any questions for you. This is where it gets hella fucked up, just gross.
Okay.
Okay, a juror, where do you live now?
I live in my house
Where?
in Florida.
Did you say before you lived in other Florida town?
Yes, I moved to the new place in July with my mother.
Your mother, your stepmother, and your father sent you up there to get away from the activities down here.
No, I moved with my mom. When when I was with my dad, like after all this happened, my mom and dad were arguing, and I didn't like my dad anymore. I just felt like living back with my mom. So I moved in with my mom, and that's when I went to the family center. Like this place, is what it's called. And then after that, my mom had planned on moving to this other place, and she'd been planning for like 2 years before any of this happened. And they finally found a house in this new place, so we moved, and I moved with them.
Uh, Juror, do you have any idea deep down inside of you that what you were doing was wrong?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, do you? Have you?
Oh, I
Have you set goals of not doing it anymore?
yes, I don't haven't talked to any of those people since that day.
And you're well aware that what you are doing to your own reputation,
Jesus. Yes, I do.
you're aware that you committed a crime.
Now I am. I didn't know it was a crime when I was doing it. Like I don't know now. Like I guess it's prostitution or something like that.
Any other questions? One more. You said you worked at blank. You were 14 and you were working at blank.
Yeah, in like that's when they like first let you work when you're 14.
Okay, now your work, you're living back now with your father in the meantime. Anyone else in the front row? Second row? Yes, sir. You keep saying Jeffrey's assistant. Do you know her name?
No, I know that she was blonde haired and she was tall and skinny. I don't remember her name.
Okay. Yes, sir, in the back row. Yes, miss. Did you ever go back to Mr. Epstein's on your own?
No, sir, I did not.
Did he ever contact you with your cell phone? He never called you?
No, because I got my phone taken away, like,
Did you
right when I was in trouble.
did you ever feel that his behavior was a little strange?
That's what we all joked about in the car.
Yeah, but did it ever occur to you that he could have hacked you up?
Jeez. I now I think about it, and a lot of things I could have happened. I thought about it a lot, and a lot
You should give it a little further thought.
different things could have happened.
Any other questions for this witness? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I y'all, we're gonna have to stop there. I can't.
No, no,
This
that
is.
just those jurors just those jurors asking questions like this,
I mean,
like how dare a juror come in and shame a 16-year-old? Like, is
absolutely.
it what is the
It, I mean, I want to cry for this little girl because no one, no one was on her side. Not one damned person. And that's why I made this stream because you know what? There are a lot of victims out there that maybe don't have a mom in their life, don't have a crazy auntie, but you know what? There are a bunch of us honey badgers out here the fuck now, and we're going to put this out here. And I'm sorry I'm cursing. I'm sorry. I'm picturing my daughter being attacked by all these people because she didn't know something. And and if I were a mom in this grand jury, a deputy would have had to tase my ass because you don't act. You first of all, the state's attorney does not talk to my child like this, and you absolute morally high horse asshole kids like that
yeah, the
when they're
jurors
the
are
victim.
the jurors acting like this really pisses me off. Like,
Yeah,
how dare they? I mean, I'm just sitting there picturing me at 14 feeling ashamed of something that
yeah,
I've done, and here I have like a bunch of adults or supposed adults shaming me, like publicly shaming me.
publicly shaming me, berating my intelligence, expecting me to have life experience I don't have, and then basically, from the top of their very high horse, they look down upon me and say, "Well, I hope you think about it better." I mean, I hope that this girl kicked ass in her life. I
I
hope
hope
that
so
she showed
too.
everyone wrong. And but this is not something. I mean, you've had that sense of safety and vulnerability ripped away from you. She probably deals with all her battles by herself now. And I would
Yeah.
not be shocked if she had to deal with this for a long time. She had to go to a freaking she went to the rehab place, which was probably an outpatient, therapy place because this messed
No,
her up.
no, it's not. I've been in a place like that. And no, it's not. And those are not happy places to be, especially for those kids. Because
No,
I'm picture I mean, I can picture like 3 or 4 girls that were in that same place that I was in, because it was somewhat like a group kind of thing. There was boys in one part of the area and girls in the other part of the area, and then we would have to get together for like these group gatherings. And I'm just picturing, any one of these girls there not being able to even talk about this in a group
no.
session because of the horrible things that happen to them and the shame that they feel, thinking it's their fault that they did this to themselves. and
I mean,
and then
and
to have these adults do basically validate their worst fears is all that happened here.
feels. I mean, she knows she did something dangerous. She knows. With hindsight, she knows. Her mom had probably sat her down and explained how things go and how very dangerous it was. And she is probably beating herself up. Why didn't I know this? Why was I so dumb? You know, My friend said it was going to be okay. I trusted my friend. How was I to know she was recruiting me and was probably another victim? There was another girl there. I mean, we are expecting a 14-year-old, a person who go with the first four of them learning how to potty train and just don't put crayon in nose. We're expecting them to have the life experience of some, well, apparently Pentecostal retirees.
Yeah.
I I just that is where we are going to end it. Now, the investigator comes back on, and if I can find any private interviews of the investigator talking about this case, I will, because he seemed to be the only one fighting for these girls.
Yeah.
The rest of the people were just fighting to get Jeffrey a sweetheart deal. Um, and it's just how many girls are going through something like this? We have, not to get super political, but we are missing, what is it, 83,000 children that crossed the border. We don't know
Yeah.
where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, so if they come into a police station in Palm Beach, Florida, are they going to get told, well, first, did you lie and say you were 18? You know, there are really good officers of the court who take this as a calling, and they are going to be appalled when this comes out. There's a
Yeah.
reason they were hiding this for 20 years, and this is the exact reason, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mm.
I Well, that is all, you guys. I am probably going to skip nightly news with Mo because my leg decides to be the emotional support animal I never decided it was going to be. So instead of stuffing my rage deep down into my pancreas like I planned, it goes right to my leg. And thank you guys for listening. I know this isn't easy stuff to talk about. I appreciate Shizzy for coming here. It isn't easy stuff to have to read or say out loud,
No, it's not.
but this needs to get out there. It needs to get out there because when I was reading, just skimming into this, I was appalled. And the mom in me wanted to stand up for these girls. They don't know who I am. They don't even care about this. But these girls needed a mom to stand up for them, and they didn't have it. And I'll be damned if they go another day not having one. So this is not an easy one. Share it around if you think that, people that can handle it, you know, definitely share it around. Get some sunlight on this, and we need answers from these prosecutors. If I have to drive a Ford Transit down to Florida, I'm getting me a Pabst Blue Ribbon and a gator. But there you go, guys. I am going to send you off. I don't have you guys redirected to anywhere, but feel free to, roam the internet freely. Godspeed on that one. Bye, guys.